Hello, I'm going to be making a loaf of bread using the Magimix Cook Expert to mix it and prove it with the first proof. I have 500 grams of strong white bread flour, 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I have found that any oil, such as vegetable, will work. 2 teaspoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 7 grams of instant dried yeast. I do prefer using fresh, and you would need to change the quantity if you were going to use that, but I can't get hold of any at the moment. And 300 millilitres of tepid water. I have the XL dough hook. However, you can use the standard one it comes with. I actually can do a couple of loaves using the XL. But today I will just make one loaf. And the 2-pound tin. You simply place all the ingredients into the Cook Expert. What I do is I keep the salt away from the yeast because it can affect how it works. You don't have to have oil and you don't have to have sugar, but I've used many recipes over the years and I found this one works best for the nicest loaf. You can just obviously use salt, yeast, flour, water to make a loaf, but it's not quite as nice. I've placed the bowl on top, everything's screwed on, and I go to baking, and I have the XL dough hook, like I said, so I will put it on that. If you don't, you can just use the bread brioche function. So I'm going to go to dough hook XL, press OK. It'll come up 4 minutes, speed 13, obviously no heating. I'll press auto. And that'll be counting down. That's finishing its last few seconds of the first mix. And you can see that it has come together lovely. And as I said, sometimes there's some bits that stick to the sides. I've got a dough scraper. Use anything you want to get rid of the stuff on the sides, and I put it on top. So all I'm going to do now, because I know that I've just added that, is give it a short whiz round, for less than a minute really. As you can see, that is lovely. Really nice. The wetter the better is what I say. So now what I'm going to do, you can actually just now put that onto proof, but I tend to get it out for a second and make it into a little bit of a nice round ball. But you don't need to, you can just put it straight on. I'll show you. So I've hired a cameraman now, so I've just plot. I don't like using any extra flour because it will dry it out, or the only thing that you could use is oil or water if you really need to. So all I do, as I say, you don't have to, is I get it into a nice tight ball. And what I was going to show you as well is the weight of the ball. That's 855, which would do a 2-pound loaf tin. I use this because I treated myself a while ago to it, and it's beautifully non-stick. And if you've got another tin that isn't as non-stick, you'll probably have to grease it and flour it. I just get my lovely dough, and place it in, and I'll show you how to prove it now. And I'm going to go to Expert, press once and you'll get to 30. That's all you need. And then I would put it on for about 40 minutes, and then I would check to see if it's doubled in size and then press auto. I've also done this before where I've actually forgotten to press auto and walked away. And you hear that start up, and I'm just going to leave that now to double in size. So this has had, it's had its 45 minutes, and then actually work got in the way and I had to work, and it's gone a bit crazy. I'm hoping it's not overproofed. I'm going to turn it out now and get it into the loaf tin. I've got it out of the bowl with the help of my scraper. It just gently coaxed out. So I don't want to knock back too much air out of this, but what I want to do is just gently shape it ready for the loaf tin. And I'll place it in there. I don't actually have to grease mine because it's non-stick. However, if yours isn't, please make sure you oil it, flour it well. So I'm just going to get my bread and fold to make a sort of seam at the bottom. I don't really, fuss too much about this. There is ways you can do it to make it a nice, folding the sides in and make it round. You just want a nice clean top, and the seam can go on the bottom. I kind of try to make it nice and tight by getting my hands and just going along like that. As I say, don't worry too much. You can't go too wrong with it. Then when it's in a kind of oblongy shape, I place it in. That's now in the tin. Like I say, it's not got a very smooth top today, but it doesn't matter too much. I then use some white bread flour on the top, because I'm going to use the clean tea towel across the top of it. Make sure that you haven't used softener with a fragrance in, because it can taint the bread. And just leave that now. Might take half an hour to 45 minutes, depending on the heat of your kitchen. Once you've covered it with its tea towel in its tin, preheat your oven to around 220. I like quite a nice hot oven for the bread. What you can do later is once you put the bread in, give it 10 minutes on nice and hot, and then turn it down. So preheat your oven about half an hour. So this has had just over half an hour and it's risen beautifully. I've got a bread raiser thing, but you can use a serrated knife. And I'm going to slash it 3 times, like so. I'm then going to place it into the oven. Don't have it the shelf too close to the top, because it could raise a lot. And then what I do is, you can put a very hot, put a tray in the bottom and pour water in. But what I found works is I actually use a water spray to make a nice lot of steam in the oven, and then quickly shut the door. And that I'm going to leave for about half an hour and then come and check it. So this has now had half an hour, and if I turn it out with one hand, I've lost my cameraman. It should sound hollow and it does. I highly recommend that Le Creuset tin. It's completely non-stick. I didn't have to do anything to that, and it is really fantastic. I got it from Amazon. As you can see, a beautiful loaf, well risen. I'm just glad it wasn't overproofed actually, but it wasn't. It was absolutely fine. It's really beautiful, tasty as well, and looks fantastic. And I'll leave that. I wouldn't cut it for about an hour really, half an hour if you just can't wait. So here's the final loaf. It's cooled now, and it's beautifully soft. And I do tend to find it does last a couple of days. You can also slice and freeze, or freeze it as a whole, and I also put it in the oven to refresh it, and that just makes it a little bit softer and warmer when you want to use it again. But lovely, nice, soft bread. Enjoy!